And welcome back to the Clear Skies Retirement Podcast. If you'd like to take your next step in retirement planning, just give us a look on our website, which is retire210.com. Fill out that form right at the bottom of the page. We'll get a date on a calendar and talk through your questions. That again at retire210.com. Well, one of the things we're going to talk about here is how much do you need out of that market as you look into 2025? We all want to have a great year, a couple of great years right before we retire. That's always a good thing to happen. But what do you need for growth? Well, it was an interesting interview. This is a wealth manager. His name is Larry Sprung, and he was on Yahoo Finance. And he was talking about the growth with your retirement money and what do you actually need?
It's not really what the return is. It's really what do I get to keep when all's said and done. And if your return is, 5%, you then have to take off inflation. You then have to take off what you owe in terms of taxes and see what you're really left with when all's said and done. And if that's a number that
you can live with, then that might be an investment that works for you. If it's not, you might have to look elsewhere.
Okay, so that's an interesting question. How much growth do we actually need on our money? What are people coming in and talking to you saying, do they actually say, I think I need 8% or I think I need 5%? Or do they just say, gosh, I think I could do just fine on 4? What do you see from people coming in?
Yeah, it was very rare for someone to come in looking at it from that perspective, right? I need X amount of percent to make my retirement plan work. Well, what he's referencing there, it's important. It's what's your real rate of return. That's what it is, right? When you take into consideration inflation and taxes and whatever else it might be, is what's your real rate of return? This is much more important than people really think, okay? Because, and what I'm referencing there is the rate of return that you're using in the financial planning that you're doing, okay? Because the truth is, as a financial planner, we can make anything look really, really good. That doesn't mean it's going to happen, right? And let me give you an example. I think I've shared this with you before. After doing hundreds, probably thousands really, of financial plans over the decades, when someone comes in, you start kind of discovering what they've got going on, how much they've saved, if there's debt, how much of the income they're going to need in retirement, Social Security, all this sort of stuff. You're kind of starting to get a feel in that meeting for, hey, is this realistic? Right? Is this really going to be able to happen or not? Now, you got to go back and you got to do your work. You got to put a plan together. But you usually, if you've done this for as long as we have, you get an idea of, yeah, we're in the realm of reality here. We just got to kind of fine tune it and see it. Or I don't know if this is going to work. Right? And years ago, I had a guy come in and he was really a do-it-yourselfer. And it's funny with people that do it themselves is that they want to do it themselves, but they're actually not sure if they're actually doing it right. So they want to come in and ask somebody, like professionally, hey, am I screwing up here?
Well, sure.
And he came in and I was like, all right, man, I'll give you an hour and then kind of we're done here, but I'll point you in the right direction as much as I can. And he showed me his plan. He was young. He was 55 or something, and he'd done an okay job saving. But he had this plan out looking that he could retire right now with the assets that he had and the expenses or the income that he needed. And I looked at it and I said, hey, look, I'm not going to do a financial plan for you. You're doing it yourself, but you're already here. Like, I'll try and give you some feedback. I was just like, there's something about this that doesn't look right. I don't see how this is working. And I couldn't figure it out for a while. And I said to him, what rate of inflation are you using with this? Oh, I'm not adding any inflation in. Okay, probably the first mistake. Okay. This is the bigger one, I feel, though. I said, what return are you assuming you're going to get on your investable assets? And he said, 15%.
Wow.
And I was like, well, that's why it looks so great.
Yeah.
Right? Is I can make anything, I can make it look better. I can throw 20% on there. Who cares, right? How realistic is that? I think very unrealistic. Yeah. Right. So I would always encourage people, hey, look, if you think you're going to get a 7% rate of return, maybe you're right. Use 5. Right? Can we make this work at 5? So that's one of the biggest downfalls I see is what rate of return are we going to use? And I would just caution people on whoever you're dealing with, if you're doing it yourself, if you're working with another advisor, hey, what rate of return are you using on this investment? 5%? Okay, that's probably reasonable. 6%? Maybe that's reasonable as well. 15%? I wouldn't hold your breath on that one.
Investment advisory services offered through investment advisory representatives at Secure Financial Management, a registered investment advisor. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed are not designed nor intended to be applicable to any person's individual circumstances. It should not be considered as investment advice, nor does it constitute a recommendation that anyone engage in or refrain from a particular course of action. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments can fluctuate, and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. Financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Secure Financial Management is licensed in your state, please contact their office. Secure Financial Management is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Wholesalers Insurance. Jamin J. Kirkwood, Texas Insurance License number 1421850.